What the hell happened here?
What? I'm expelling the excess lead. Oh, big bullet coming. Oh, here we...
Borderlands is a new film adaptation of the semi-popular video game franchise. In it, a ragtag group of misfits come together on a dangerous planet to locate a mysterious vault, all while being chased by the galaxy's most powerful company. There's lots of intense visuals, lots of loud noises, lots of excitement, lots of cool stuff. So based on that, the movie should at the very least be somewhat entertaining, right? Well, no. Borderlands is a massively boring embarrassment that also became the biggest box office disaster in years. $20 million on a $100 million budget. The math ain't mathin'.
I think I deserve a little something for this.
Give you $50.
I could get more than that on eBay.
All right, 100. Miss Brandt, give this man his money and throw in a bar of soap.
To give you a sense of how terrible things got, this movie apparently made some of the people behind it downright go insane. The original writer was so ashamed of what he was seeing that he removed his name from the credits and apparently used a fake writer name. And now there's a Twitter account being run by that fake writer that's constantly bullying the movie and celebrating its downfall.
Don't forget that every ticket to Borderlands comes with free parking validation. You don't even have to see the movie.
And to think that there's even a possibility that the showrunner of one of the biggest shows on TV, one of the busiest people on the planet, is spending his already limited time to run an alt account to clown on a movie he worked on, then things must be bad. They must be pretty damn bad. And bad indeed they are. This movie could easily warrant another marathon breakdown to identify all its failures. But since we just did that, today let's dive into the core narrative problems behind those failures. The core problems that ensure that none of the excitement and visuals and cool stuff that this movie has on the surface could ever amount to anything. Problems relating to the very basics of screenwriting that made this movie feel like it was made by a 5-year-old.
And then there's a hole in the train. And then the car brought the box. Then the police went after that. Then.
The character motivations are unclear, so nothing the characters do could ever mean anything to the audience. The content of the scenes and plot is based on stuff that has no proper existence, so none of it could ever interest the audience. And there's also a huge problem with the ending, and if you want to know what that is, you'll just have to see the video.
This is bullshit! This game is a scam!
But yeah, here's how Borderlands fails at some of the most basic aspects of screenwriting to become a massive failure all around, and what we need to do to avoid the same fate. Or else, one day, it might be your own co-writers that turn against you. The first basic writing problem here is that this movie doesn't establish proper motivations for its characters, so nothing they do really means anything. If you look at the opening scene after the exposition prologue, for example, you could notice that it's a bit of a confusing mess. There's this girl on the spaceship, and then a soldier shows up to take her out of there, and then they fight other soldiers, and then there's also a crazy guy who jumps in out of nowhere. And it's like, what the hell is going on? Where is this girl exactly? Is she a prisoner wanting to get out, or why does she need rescuing? And who is this soldier, and why is he rescuing the girl, and from what? And who are they fighting? And who the hell is the guy in the mask?
It's time to go insane!
Where did he come from, and why is he suddenly so obsessed with the girl? Should I call Chris Hansen?
It's a little late to be prowling around these parts, huh? Why don't you have a seat right over there, please?
Like, I understand the idea of the scene, but what I don't understand is why characters do what they do in it, which means I don't understand the scene. And as for the reason why, it's because the movie introduces multiple characters and factions at the same time, in one big lump, which is a bad idea because usually it means that there's no time to establish motivations of individuals on an individual level. The only way it can work is if characters are introduced as a group following one shared motivation that can be understood as one.
I understand.
But these characters are not the same group sharing the same motivation, so... As another example, look at Lilith, the bounty hunter hero on another planet. Basically, she goes to a bar with her new bounty to get a drink, and then she's suddenly offered a job by the CEO villain to go look for the girl on planet Pandora. A job that she's not motivated to even consider until...
Oh. Okay.
Again, I understand the idea that Lilith goes on a bounty hunt for money, but I don't understand why she does that. I have no idea what she needs money for. All I've seen is that she buys a drink without even caring how much money she spends.
Not sure how top you think the shelves are.
Buy your kids some dance lessons.
So why does she need more money? For example, if you would establish that Lilith is a washed-up alcoholic always looking for any penny she can get her hands on to keep drinking, then I would understand why she goes on this bounty hunt. But to have an apparently rich bounty hunter who doesn't seem to care about money going after a bounty to get money, I just don't get it. And that's the best way to describe almost all the characters here. You just don't get their motivation to be part of the story of finding the vault. The villain wants to find the vault to become super powerful, but is already the most powerful person in the movie with a personal army, so what does he need the vault for? The girl wants to find the vault to get the weapons to kill the villain, but she already has a seemingly infinite amount of various toy explosives that she's never even tried to use on the villain to kill him, so what does she think she'll find in the vault that her explosives couldn't do? The soldier and the crazy guy and the technician, I have no clue why they're on this journey personally. Mostly it seems to be just because they're movie heroes and this is a movie. I mean, it gets to a point where the most humanly understandable character in the movie is an inhuman robot.
I was reactivated because I've been programmed to help you upon your return.
Yes, the robot's reason for being on the journey to find the vault is that he's been programmed to do so. It's a very shallow motivation and still the best one here. Not only do I understand the journey that the robot goes on, but I also understand why he goes on it. To be clear, motivation doesn't always have to be real. It could be a lie that gets revealed later. But it does have to seem real enough for the audience to be able to grab onto it. It's not enough that a character says that they want their child back when clearly they don't care about the child at all. Without proper motivation to go on a journey, there is no hope for the journey. Even the tiniest motivational crumb can reorient the character's journey entirely. For example, let's say that the way the villain gets Lilith on board is because he holds private, sensitive information data about her as hostage. Information like addresses and contacts and whatever that he can sell on the movie's version of the internet.
To access the EchoNet?
Did you say EchoNet?
Which Lilith obviously can't allow because in the wrong hands that data is not good.
Can you use it to find someone?
Of course.
Oh, hell no!
It's a tiny thing, but already enough to reshape motive. Like, okay, the reason Lilith goes to look for the girl is because she needs her data from the villain. And the reason she then joins the girl's quest to find the vault is because the vault offers a way to disrupt the movie's internet and wipe it clean of all personal data. Just like that, her journey is much more understandable. And what's best about that motive is that it's based in reality. In the real world, your sensitive data is being collected by apps and websites and then sold to third parties who use it to profile you for ads and spam and scams and in worst cases even identity theft.
Oh, hell no!
And the way to stop that is Incogni, a subscription service that acts on your behalf to continuously wipe your data from all data brokers. So to free your life from spam and to protect your online identity, check out Incogni's annual plan with code FULMENTO to get a 60% discount. The second basic writing problem here is that most of the content of the scenes and plot is based on material that has no proper existence, like a house built on nothing. For example, the main plot is a race to the mysterious vault, which is not a real thing. We haven't personally seen it or its keys or a map leading to it or any evidence of it being out there. All there's been is endless talk about how there is this vault and how the girl can magically open it and how it's the answer to all problems.
The Iridian's greatest secrets were hidden in a vault. A prophecy that one day a daughter of Iridia would open the vault and restore order.
In other words, the audience goes on a journey to find something that they cannot yet see as real. Like if Infinity War was a race to find a gauntlet full of stones without the gauntlet or stones ever being seen in practice before. Doesn't really inspire a lot of interest, does it? And in this manner, most of the content here is stuff that has no basis to be what it's presented to be. There's the villain's mega company called Atlas Corporation, which is apparently super powerful. But what does the company do? How does it operate? Where does it get its resources? And how powerful is it compared to other companies?
And I don't know, I just showed up and I don't know, I don't even know the guy.
We never get into any specifics aside from Atlas soldiers being useless idiots. It just is a powerful tech company, I guess. There's a faction of psychos who apparently have superpowers and thus are so dangerous that even Lilith is scared of them. But who are they? Why are they crazy? Why do they have superpowers? What's their objective? We never delve into any of that. They're just superpowered crazies that live in this cave, pranking each other, I guess. There's the planet Pandora, which apparently is a bad place. But why is it a bad place? From the moment we arrive, we see nice kids and a free tour bus and even a cool town that the British would love to visit.
That is bloody lovely.
Like, is it the psychos that make this planet bad, or is there a severe lack of resources or an infestation of mutated animals that can kill you anywhere? Well, maybe. Most of those things aren't really relevant here. Mostly it's a bad planet because the hero said so.
Scavenger kids, barely scraping out a living. Psychos, murderers, gangs. Place you don't ever want to return to.
Altogether, most of the content here is meaningless noise. We go to some place and fight, and then we drive around to another place which happens to be a sand monster's home, and then we go to some town to meet people we've never heard of who tell us that now we must go to some other place because the key we've never seen is there, yada yada yada. None of these places or objectives or obstacles possess established value. To the audience, they mean nothing.
It's bloodshots.
Yeah, their symbols are everywhere.
Who? These are the psychos other psychos are afraid of.
And to make it worse, the same applies to the relationship side, which is built on conflict that lacks basis. The villain and the girl share a twisted father-daughter bond, but we've never even seen them share a scene until the very end, so who cares? Lilith and the technician share a hostile bond due to Lilith being left to struggle on her own as a kid.
I left you with tradespeople.
You mean the murderers and thieves on the mining ship?
But we have no idea what they're talking about. We've never seen anything relating to Lilith having to struggle as a kid. No flashbacks, no traumas, nothing. All we've seen of her life thus far is that it's very casual and easy. So what are you on about? I mean, the movie's primary bond is the one between Lilith and the girl. Basically, Lilith sees herself in the girl because, like the girl, she also apparently had a tough childhood of being a prisoner worker to adults. But we never see either side of that. We don't see how terrible the girl's life is because she's immediately free from it.
Okay, let's go.
And we don't see anything about child prisoners other than a quick glimpse through a scope of the corporation looking for the girl, after which the whole thing is gone.
I was so out of character to save those children.
There's not enough here to be able to invest in this traumatic bond shared by these women.
I'm just a product to Atlas. Then he's just gonna lock me up into another secret lab and do more experiments. And if you saw the things that he did to the other clones...
With all due respect, what the are you talking about?
The point is that you can't invent things out of thin air. It's not enough that Lilith meets an old friend who we don't know to talk about her mom who we never knew about. You have to choose what to focus on and give it time. Let us see how tragic the girl's prisoner life is. Let us see how Lilith is still struggling with her own similar childhood. Give us enough evidence to get into what's on screen. Because if you don't, all you have is visual noise that makes the audience shrug and say, what the hell's going on now? The third basic writing problem here is that the emotional side doesn't grow more intense toward the end, which makes the end feel like a flop. Basically, after the heroes find the vault key in the mines, things at face value appear to grow more serious. The soldier sacrifices himself to the psychos to allow the others to escape. The technician secretly reveals that the girl might have to die when she opens the vault.
The pieces are consumed and the vault opens.
But you're prepared to take that risk.
The girl sees Lilith being tracked by the villain and turns on her because she thinks she's betrayed them. And then the villain shows up at the vault with his army to put all the heroes in peril. Very big things. But once you start to look deeper into these things, you may notice that none of them go all the way. After the soldier has sacrificed himself, it's immediately straight up revealed that he's okay. Not only does that make it clear that none of the heroes will actually die here, but even the emotion of the moment itself is destroyed. It's like when Rise of Skywalker killed Chewie and then immediately showed that he's fine. Like, what's the point? Why would the soldier's return be a big deal when we already know he was never gone?
That was quite an entrance, Roland.
You miss me?
No.
When the technician reveals that the girl might die when she opens the vault, it's an empty topic because there is no hero willing to even consider sacrificing the girl to access the vault. Because again, nobody has enough motivation. So the whole difficult domestic conflict dilemma of whether or not to sacrifice the girl is pointless. Of course they're not gonna sacrifice the girl. The secrecy amounts to nothing.
I have to warn you, this might kill you.
Me? Nah, kid. I'm the special one. Whatever this is gonna make me invincible.
When the girl sees Lilith talking to the villain's hologram, I don't even understand what makes her think that Lilith has intentionally betrayed them. Lilith hasn't done anything terrible that the girl would now find out about. For example, it's not like the girl hears Lilith considering letting her die to access the vault as if she knew all along, even though she really just found out and wouldn't actually do it.
Tina, look, I know how this must look.
There just isn't enough here to warrant this fracture of friendship. I'm sure they're gonna be friends again the next time they meet.
Hello.
And as for the climax where the villain ambushes the heroes at the vault, the issue is that it's all gimmicks. Oh, the villain is here with his new psycho army and even a battleship, so there's no way to fight him, especially because he also has the shield that stops all attacks.
It's so horror.
Oh, but then Lilith turns out to be the chosen one and unlocks the vault and turns into Dark Phoenix. And now she has a shield that she gives to the others, and so now we're winning.
We are so bad.
Oh, but then the battleship turns out to be too powerful even for Dark Phoenix Lilith.
It's so fucking horror.
Oh, but then Lilith supercharges her Dark Phoenix powers to take the ship down.
We are so fucking back.
Yada yada yada.
Never even big hand. We never left.
The point is that the emotional side of this climax is non-existent. There are no big character actions or choices regarding accessing the vault. Everybody just stands around talking as if nobody actually even wants to get into the vault. There are no big payoffs or resolutions, like the psycho fighting his former boss or something. He just fights some armored guy we've never seen before. Altogether, it doesn't even feel like anybody is taking this finale seriously. I don't believe that the villain might win because it doesn't seem like he's trying to win. I don't believe that the hero might lose because it just doesn't seem likely. I'm sure everything will be fine because most of what I'm seeing is just stuff. And for a climax of a movie, that's not good enough. If you don't go harder than before and further than before and more emotionally heavy than before, you're not going anywhere. A finale that's less is not gonna work. And when you pair that up with lacking character motive and lacking basis for content, the movie's not gonna work. No matter the excitement on screen, the very best your movie can ever be is loud noise that most people will never see.